afternoon, you lovely lot, and how are you on this fine Sunday morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you're watching from? It's 2 o'clock here in the UK. We're bringing you a fabulous creative cravings show. So if you want to get really creative and see where your cravings take you, or where our lovely guest is going to take you with her creations today, stay tuned, because we've got a jam-packed hour for you. And boy, I mean, if you see this morning's show, we did do a bit of a rookie mistake, so just a little heads up. After Debbie's first demo, we are going to do a card of the show from this morning because we forgot to get it in. So apologies for that. So we're going to get that done at the beginning of the hour, and then we will do the end of the show one as well, just so we've got a couple to go into the end of the day one. And it's Sunday, so we also have with the whole month, the card of the month, or the demo of the month, which will be amazing. So whoever that lucky person will get an extra gold sparkly star on their name. But of course, I've already mentioned her. I'm not on my own. We've had a laugh all morning, which has been amazing. And in the studio is our lovely Debbie Robinson.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, we are back for our second show of the day. I feel like this is a little bit of a starter skills kind of thing, as well as a creative cravings, because we're taking you into the world of templates and how you can use certain things that we do, again, at Crafters Companion. We've got many a template out there. But yeah, we're going to take you into a little world of that and show you how easy they are to use, because I know a lot of people are frightened of them because they're so used to metal dies.
Yes.
And they think you need a metal die for everything, but you don't, because you've got some amazing templates that we do at Crafters Companion, and we've got 3 of some of my favourites. In fact, I'll tell you, I got to choose these, Debs. So for this show, I got to choose which ones I wanted to use. So I was able to go back to some of our brilliant ones that we've had in the past, as well as current ones as well. So we're going to do all things Storybook. With a box template. We're going to do favour boxes, and we're going to do some crepe paper flowers as well.
Oh,
so I'm really looking forward to this show. I know it's only an hour long, Debs, but we've got a lot to get in there. But we'll keep it nice and simple for you. I'll show you how easy it is to use and why you don't need to be afraid of them, because I'm going to give you a couple of options in how to do things.
Absolutely, and we can't wait for that, can we? Lots of people coming in already. Now remember, we are fully sociable here on Crafters TV, so just below here, get social with Crafters TV. Send us in a message, say hi. It'd be nice to hear from you. Let us know what you've been up to this weekend. We've already got Susie's on social, so hi Susie, she's looking forward to a double Debbie day. Yeah, absolutely, we love working together. It's always an absolute pleasure. We've got Rebecca in from South Carolina. We've got Lizzie in who's saying happy Sunday to everyone from Florida. Sarah Brown is in from Australia, and she's saying hello to her friends and to Debs and all the crafty friends. Sending love, hugs, and hope you're all having an enjoyable and hope you enjoyed your Sunday roast. Oh, well, let me tell you, Tracy ordered me a roast dinner earlier. Well, ordered me and her a roast dinner. Oh, it was delicious. It was delicious. I ate it all. Tracy left a bit, and I ate sticky toffee pudding afterwards. So it's all gone. Mine's all gone. I've been a bit of a pig, but it was delicious. Thank you for asking. Terry's in from Ohio. Ohio, Terry. We've got Janet in, Lynn's in, Zoe's in, Thea's in. Lots of you in this morning. Janine is in and saying that she loves watching the inspiration. I have to be honest, I love watching Debbie. She has the most inspirational makes that you could ever wish to ask for. And we are going to be showing you exactly what's coming up. The Storybook die. It's amazing. I mean, just look at this creation. Now, what I love about this and why I think Debbie chose it is a die set and a template. So you're actually getting a 2 for here. Absolutely amazing. Debbie, what have you got to show with this?
So I'm going to show you how to use this enchanted storybook set. So again, you get a little bit of inspiration on the front, as you do with most of ours. There's even a little website link that you can follow as well that will take you forward to a page dedicated to it to be able to show you how to use it. I'm going to show you how to use it right now. So this is all your die sections for your storybook element, which we'll come to in a moment. So I'm just going to move those to one side, because what we have got and where the templates come in are the templates for the box, for the drawer, for either your card to sit into or sit on the top of. I'm going to show you some options and what you can do with them. But first things first, our templates, how do we use them? Well, we have a couple of ways that we can use them, and I'm going to show you those couple of ways. So I've got 2 pieces of white multi-purpose cardstock, and I'm going to take the first one and show you how to use this. Now, the actual casing of the drawer that fits around, this is the drawer piece, this is the encasing around there. This is the one that you're going to do twice of. So what you're going to do is take it now for less than waste, that I don't want to use all of it. I've taken it right to the very edges of the long side of this sheet, and I'm going to take my pencil, and this is one way you can use a template. So just take your pencil and lightly draw around the template. And then these 2 sections that have got like a cut in the centre, I always tend to do a little, so I know that this is actually a scoring piece. You can actually pop a full line down there, but just so I don't get mixed up, I'm just going to do a couple of little on and off there, so you can see that this is the full template. And these are the places where you're going to put your scores. Now, I always do a little mention to myself, so I remember I need to cut this out twice to create the drawer. So I'll come to that in a second. The other way that you can use a template is, and you can do it with this box one, but I'm going to show you the larger one. So I'm going to place it onto the cardstock. Again, I'm going to just make life a little bit easy for myself. I'm going to take it down to the bottom edge and the long edge, and then I'm going to hold it down with a little tiny piece of tape just over the top. So, and that's just to hold that into place. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my Gemini plate and the platform. So you've got 2 options. We're going to draw, score and cut, or you can use your Gemini as well. So with this one, I'm going to place the templates where it's stuck onto the cardstock, but turn it over and place it down. And then I'm going to bring in the rubber embossing mat. So your purple shim on your Gemini, you can pop onto the top, and then you're going to bring in your plastic shim and then your other cutting plates, and we're going to use that now to create an embossed template. So when we take that through, what that will do is, and with the rubber embossing mat being in there, in that plate combination, it will push into the template and create the outline and the score line into place for you, and so that it makes it easier to follow. Couple of ways you can do it. You make one, for me, I always say that you find the way that's easiest for yourself, but just to show you how you can create that piece and that template onto there. So let's just move all those out of the way, and then I'm just going to lift that and remove that tape just off the top. And then what you've got now is you've got a raised template to be able to follow, and with the score lines already into place, but we need to trim these down. So I'm going to bring in my guillotine. I'm following that pattern and that line, and you just line that up onto the edge of the blade, and then just bring that down. And I'm only needing to do it on the 2 sides. This one's okay, it's just down this side, and where you can see that score line, you're just going to follow that and take that across there. And then we've now got the positioning into place and the score lines where I just fold that in and burnish, because it's already been popped into there for you with the use of the Gemini machine, and that is for all of those. So I don't even have to use a scoring board with this, because it's being popped in by our template. So 2 easy ways to use it, and I find that you'll find a way that works for yourself. And then all you're going to do then is follow the lines that you have with your scissors, and follow those lines to create your, and this is like a box, I'm going to call it the box drawer, because that's the box drawer part to it, and you just follow them. It's so super simple this way. And one way that I wanted to show you, I'm going to show you again with the drawing one in a second, of how you can create your box base, or should I say the box drawer, with ease using the method of the Gemini. And again, the same on this side. Just going to follow that line and follow those score lines to create now that drawer. Super simple, and those score lines have been popped in for me with that template without me having to use our scoreboard. However, the other way, like I said, this one needs 2 pieces cut in. I've got 2 pieces of cardstock, and because the power of our guillotines means that you can actually get through multiple layers of cardstock in any one go. And all you're going to do is follow that line. So we're going to follow those pencil lines and literally just cut those 2 pieces out line them up onto the edge, pencil line onto the edge of your blade, and then just take that out, and then bringing in your scoreboard now, we'll just bring that scoreboard in. I need to now place those score lines in, and because I've pencil marked it, I know exactly where to pop that, and I'm just going to do that one by one for this piece. Let's bring our scoring tool in, and then we're going to follow those lines and just put the score line into place. And then you'll take your eraser and you will rub out those marks. But what that now means is that you've got your two pieces, because you'll do that twice, with your score lines already into place. Just take your eraser and just erase those marks. And you need to have two pieces of those along with your box as well. Now I've already got mine already decorated, but just to show you how easy this is to put together, I've chosen some of our paper from I think this was from the Say It With Flowers range. Beautiful paper pad, but you can choose any. I've lined the inside of my drawer, and I've already put my red liner tape in. Whenever I'm doing anything with construction, I actually like to have that with red liner tape to make sure it's a nice sturdy hold. And I've just popped a little strip here at the front, which is going to be the front part of the drawer. I'll pop the actual outer case in through first. So those two pieces that we talked about, once you've got them scored and cut down to size, again, just decorate. So I've popped a couple of pieces of paper on either side of the largest tabs. The smaller tabs are where you're going to do the connection. And then I've popped one on the top part as well. However, we need to connect the two like so. So it's going to go in this way. So we're going to take the small tab and measure it to the large tab. So we're going to take off our red liner tape and just literally now attach that together to the fold. So you take the straight edge, take it to that fold, and then again the same way that we've just talked about in terms of the small tab with the large tab, but make a life a little bit easy for yourself and just take off the red liner tape. And two ways you can do this. Just get that tape off there. You can just bring that into that fold and lay it flat, so it means that when you lay it flat it lines itself up. Now, a little top tip you can do, you can actually add some wet glue onto the edge of that tab to make sure that it's got a bit of wiggle time. However, you can see now that that's joined up nicely. I just then give it a little bit of a burnish, putting those extra burnish lines in on your score lines will make for an easier draw and a more solid draw. So that now you can see we have the draw part. And then we're going to just now line that up. So again, we're just going to place our base. That's the drawer that pulls out, and then we'll pop our storybook onto the top. This is a two-part, so you have the metal dies for the storybook itself and the templates for the box drawer. So again, just placing that in. I'm going to do exactly the same on all four tabs. And then literally that now slides in, so you've got your drawer piece. Now this is when you can attach either ribbons to the front, so you could use pokey tool and add a little ribbon into there or a button, but that's your drawer piece. Now then, we'll move on to that drawer, the storybook itself. So the storybook dies come to you like this, and you've got a lot of pages on here to be able to get creative with. So in order to make like a nice card that either sits into your card box or you can sit it on the top, you've got choices with this one, means that you're going to use these dies. Now the outer die itself is that first page. If you're wanting to use an easel card, you're going to cut yourself 3 of those out. So the 3 that I have are 1, 2 and 3. One I've already decorated using the second die. I've popped some score lines halfway along and just about ½ an inch at the top to create a bit of an easel, and pop some red liner tape onto there for you as well, so you can see just how easy this is to do. And again, it's one of those beautiful dies that can be used on its own or combined together, create the most spectacular enchanted storybook. It really is stunning. So putting those 2 pieces, the third piece we can actually just line it to the bottom, and I've just popped it on that bottom half of the fold to create an easel card. Of course, you could just have 2 pieces and create a nice straight fold card if you wanted to as well, but line that up at the bottom. and that creates the easel element. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just bring in the rest of those dies. So the rest of the dies now enable you to cut out all the extra pages, and you go down in size. You've got some torn, some straight, you've got accessories, you've got a nice piece here that could be a stopper for your easel card, you've got accessories in flowers and keys, leaves. So you've got everything you could possibly need to create the most amazing pieces. And that's all I've done with this. Is I've taken some plain cardstock and pattern cardstock. I've popped a little bit of red liner tape just down the centre. I've actually scored mine in the centre as well because I want it to have a little bit of an open book feel. Take your bone folders and you can score those pages and give them that turned over. You could fray them up if you want, use your distressing tool and give them a real edgy look as well. Take your inks to them. Lots of things that you can do with these. And then again, I'm going to now just line up each and every single one of those pages exactly the same, halfway, give it a little manipulate is the word I'm looking for, and then line that up into that centre of each one of your pages. If I just do that onto the top, and then I'm going to come in and just line each one up, and then the same with that last piece. And I've just altered from a thicker red liner tape to a smaller one on the sizes that I've gone down into. Then we've got little accessories that you can add. So I've got myself a little tag with some ribbon through there, stamped a little stamp on, and then I'm just going to add a couple of little accessories in terms of what I have in my die range. So I've got a couple of little butterflies on there. And we'll just pop a couple in the page. I'm going to attach that round the back, so I'm just going to line that up with a little bit of tape and attach that to the back of there. And let's just have that swing in there. And I'll trim that ribbon off. And then just finishing it off with a few flowers. I've got a few of those flower dies cut. I've popped some little gems in the centre. For the stopper of my easel, I've used that little decorative piece that's on your die set in the Enchanted Storybook. I've just lifted that with some foam pads to create a little stopper for my easel card. So let's pop that into that centre. And that acts as the easel. We'll decorate with a few little flowers. Let's pop some down. Got a couple of flowers in this corner. We'll have some in that top piece as well. And then now you can see how it all starts to come together to create a really lovely piece using all the accessories. And then coming back to the drawer itself, let's just bring that round the front. Oops, I've put it onto the wrong side, silly me. Look at me, I'm putting it on the wrong side. I need to go on that piece, Debbie, what you like. Literally, pop that down there. And then you can now attach it either to the top of your box, so you could attach your design to the top so that it sits like this, and you can sit that on and then just fold that down, or it can be your box for your card to go into. So you have a couple of options in how you can use that. And if you're going to use that as a box, that's when I would probably use some of those decorated pieces as well. But you have the option to be able to have the drawer as the place for your card to go, or if you stick the full base, you pop some glue all the way on the bottom base, stick that onto the top and have that as your base for your easel card. So again, absolutely beautiful die set, very simple, easy template to use, and I've shown you a couple of ways that you can use it with either a pencil or with the use of your Gemini to create the most easy, gorgeous box there for whichever way around you want to use that. Just gorgeous.
Thank you so much for that, Debbie. Such a beautiful creation, and all that done with simple templates like this one. So you can see the templates here to create the actual box and that wraparound, and then having that amazing die set. I mean, a really comprehensive die set, all for you to be creative with that Storybook die. Lots of you are enjoying this show, which is amazing, and I'm not surprised. We've actually got lots of people in today, Debbie. Terry is saying that she's always stayed away from templates and did a craft, but she did a craft along and found out how easy they are, and she now loves them. She's also decided to have to get the template library that Craig has been hinting about. Yes, that's another one. If you do love your template, templates, and hopefully after today, and I'm sure you will after Debbie's inspiration, you will definitely be wanting that template library. It's absolutely amazing. In fact, I think I'm bringing it to you on Wake Up Call the morning it launches, so it's not far away. It's only in February that we've got that coming out. So yes, we're going to actually look at a few of the samples that Debbie's got from our design team, just to look at a few more of those Storybook ones, because they're absolutely beautiful, aren't they, Debbie?
They are beautiful. There's so many things you can do with your dies and templates. In terms of the template, you could actually create yourself a 2-drawer, a 3-drawer. I remember when I launched these, I was very elaborate, and I went to a 3-drawer design that you can do. You've got the template there, and that template could be used outside of the Storybook die set as well, because you could take it and use it for other things that you might want to do in terms of gift boxes, in terms of your card making, all sorts of different things you can do. Now this one here is being used, and it's been attached to the top of the box, so it is actually an easel card on top of a gift box that you can then fill with maybe sweets or a gift for your recipient. The one that I just showed you in the terms of how you could use it, it could be a beautiful decorated box. To strengthen your box lid as well, you can actually use a mount board or an extra piece of cardstock underneath to give it some real rigidity. In terms of then being a box with a separate card in that you can then take, and again it can either be an easel card, and an easel card in a different way, I'm saying an easel card, a lovely fold card there that can just sit on the top. Or take the die without using the box template and just use it to create a lovely little book on the front. It's a beautiful, beautiful set, and one that I wanted to just, go back over to show you just how fabulous it is. There's so many things you can do with them. You've just seen the way I've just created with it, using some of our latest papers in our collection, which is that beautiful, gorgeous, Say It With Flowers paper. It's just absolutely stunning. Again, just such a lot of ways that you can use it, and like I said, you could do a 1 or a 2 box. You could have side-by-side boxes and maybe a couple of those cards on there. There's just a lot of ways you can use it, and those templates enable you to have yourself a lovely set of drawers or boxes for any of your cards that would take a card up to the measurement of 8x6, so you can see just how big that actually is. It's quite a nice set, Debs, and I absolutely adore them.
Yeah, me too as well. Kirsty's saying that she used the die to make Christmas cards for her nieces and nephews, and she said she put some sweets inside the box and they absolutely loved them. I think that's a really cool idea. Bonnie's saying beautiful card, Pamela's saying beautiful card, make Debbie, Suzette's saying beautiful card, Debbie. Stephen Lee Guy on Facebook is saying I made a Christmas card with this set for my dad, and he didn't believe that I made it. And actually, that really goes to show how professional it makes you look when you've got the right tools, and these dies will do that for you. And then also we've got a Alt G varies. Excuse me if I've said that wrong. I see a lot of new things for me, and I like the demonstrations. Well, we're very pleased about that, because they are amazing, and Debbie has such good inspiration. Now these flower dies are absolutely stunning. Handmade, how do you fancy making handmade flowers like this, which are incredible? Make them into home decor where you've got that beautiful flower. What about just making individual flowers like this? I mean, absolutely incredible. And I believe, Debbie, you're going to show us exactly how to make one of these.
Oh, I love these, Debbie. I absolutely adore them. Crepe paper, it's quite an on-trend thing at the moment, but really beautiful, realistic flowers that are going to be perfect for not only card making, but maybe home decor pieces. Maybe you want to pop them into a vase when they're finished. Now, we've got the crepe paper making flower kits. Mouthful in itself, but we get there. And we've also got as well the Build a Bouquet template, which work hand in hand together to create all your templates. Now, I've already taken my templates out because there are, if I just bring that back in again, you've got the peony the garden rose, the carnation, the dahlia all in one. Me personally, this is a little top tip I'm just going to give you, but I already have mine separated so that I know, and I've got them all in a little envelope, so I know that the dahlia, all the pieces for the dahlia are in this envelope. The same with the rose, the same with the carnation, the same with the peony. The one I'm going to do and the one I'm going to make for you right now is the actual garden rose, because I just think it's a beautiful, it's one of my favourite flowers ever. I just adore it. And again, the templates, because I know I've already got those all ready, we've taken the templates in there. Now, these are really simple templates to be able to create with. Now, I'm going to bring in just a little bit of black cardstock just to show you, because the white on the glass mat can sometimes be a little bit tricky to see. But it's very straightforward templates in terms of the petals. So we have what we call the large petal, we have a smaller petal, and then we have the little, or the smallest of the three. Then you have the centre part, and then you also have a leaf and then the sepal as well. So you've got all your pieces in there ready for you to get using. It even gives you a guide, so for those realistic 3D flowers, gives you a guide of how many to cut. So on the largest it's the 8, and then on the middle size and the small one it's the 6 pieces. Of course, there's nothing stopping you from doing more if you want a real big statement piece, but this is a guide to how to put them together to create that lovely 3D rose. So first things first, how do we use it? Well, we've got the crepe paper, and the crepe paper comes in that form of the crepe paper flower making kit. You've got lots of colours in here. We've got like red, we've got green, we've got orange, that beautiful like peachy colour, I'm going to call it, pinky peachy colour, and then this lovely cream colour as well. You've got all your stamens in there. Again, you've got the wire as well to wrap round once you're finished, and then the polystyrene balls as well to be able to create your centre part. So that's all ready and good to go. And then how to use it. So I've taken a snippet of the crepe paper. There is a grain on crepe paper, so when you are using it, think about the grain, and it does give you an indication on where to stick your petal with the arrow going up and down, so that's the grain line you follow. I'm going to just fold that over and try and show you how I make my petals really quick and easy. So when you're using these templates, now I could say that you could draw around them, but crepe paper is notorious in the terms of it's very detailed. It's got lots of ridges, and because of the nature of crepe paper. So I just simply take that fold, and then I take my scissors and I use that template to cut around. There may be other people that do it slightly differently, but I'm just going to show you how easy it is to follow this. Don't take it right to the very end. It doesn't matter if you've gone a little bit over, it's absolutely fine, but you're just following that design around. If you find that there's too much crepe paper, just snip away that crepe paper until you're happy with where you're going, and then just follow that lovely design around, taking care not to go into the actual template itself when you're taking your scissors, because you will cut into it. So it's just a case of using it as a template to create very quick and easy petals and multiple petals. I don't want you sat there cutting one out at a time for 8. It'll take you forever. So, and you can see the shape follows that template, and you've got that was 4 that I did, but you can cut yourself out more in multiples depending on how much of that crepe paper goes. So when I'm bringing that template back in, and I'm just going to move that to one side because I've got all mine layered out at the side of me, and I've followed the pattern that it tells me to, or the amount, sorry, the quantities that it tells me to. So I've got 8 of the largest, I've got 6 of the medium, and then I've got 6 of the small. I've cut myself a couple of sepals out because it depends on the feel afterwards when I'm done. I've cut myself a couple petals out as well, and then the centre one as well. Now you can see my centre's not perfect circle, doesn't matter, as long as you remember to use that as a template and cut around, it's absolutely fine, and it's just to get the shape that you want in with that. Now, very easy in terms of how you do these and put them together, but what we're going to do is we're going to bring in a hot glue gun. Hot glue gun's always the best one, I find. You can use things like tacky glue, but you'll find you'll need to hold it into place, you'll need to let it set before you can move on to the next one, which is why I prefer to use a hot glue gun for this. Just take care whenever you're using a hot glue gun. For that reason, it is a hot glue gun, and it's as simple as that. But need I say no more. Now we're going to take our stamen at the side of us as well, Now, the polystyrene ball, this is when we're going to use this particular one to wrap around. Now, the way I find it easy, and you'll find a way that works for yourself, but what we're wanting to do is just wrap and stick that around the base. So I'm going to bring in that hot glue gun, and for the time being, I'm just going to keep it on this black cardstock to start with, but I'm just going to use it and pop a little bit of glue going around the outside, like so. And then popping that ball into the centre. We're just then going to bring those pieces up and then just hold and attach. Now, the thing you'll find with a hot glue gun is it's quite an instant stick. So literally hold it into place. I'm not covering the bottom bit up because that's where I need to pop my stamen into there. What I'm wanting to do is make sure I've got a nice round ball there. And that is as easy as that first stage is. So you take that, I've got one already dried here that I did beforehand. And what we're going to do is we're just going to attach that into that middle piece up to that top. Now, take care not to go right through. You don't want to come up the other end. Just take it as far as it will go, and then you're ready and good to go with your petals. And as with anything, think about a rose, that centre has the smaller pieces. So we're going to start with those smaller pieces. But before we do, we can take our bone folders, we can shape that crepe paper, we can mould it because it's pliable and it gives us extra mould, so we can take them and curl your edges. Of course, you can do that afterwards as well, but just to get yourself going, what we're going to do is just attach around here some of the hot glue gun, and we're just going to start to build up. So I'm going to stretch that across there, pop a little, I say a little bit, I put quite a nice bit down there, and then just literally now take that petal and bring it in and attach. And you can literally start to build this petal up and this rose up just by simply adding your next layer onto the top. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So for each one of these, I'm just going to give them a little shape. Once they're on though, you can shape these afterwards. It's not something that you have to do beforehand, but I think you'll find that it makes it a little bit easier if you've got a little bit of a shape going with your petal leaves. And if you imagine a rose, that's what you would find. I have them scattered all over my garden. I've got a lot of rose bushes in my garden, and that's where I find all the petals, rose petals on there. So that's the shape that you're going for. So again, all I'm going to do is just keep attaching some glue. As you're going along, you can make it a bit more neater, but just get a few down to start with. And we're just going to pop that on. I'm taking care not to go over the top, but of course with any like rose, the centre part is always the bit that you'll find is the bit that's the more closed petal, shall we call it. So again, I'm just going to take that over and start to build up these petals and these layers. And again, just take my glue gun and just pop that down. Now I find the hot glue better. You might find a different glue that works for yourself, but it's a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Quite quick in the way that it holds. So again, all I'm doing is I've taken that and I'm starting to form that bud in the centre of the rose. And we're going to continue with the smallest of the petals and then move on to the middle size and then the large ones. So I'm just going to make sure now that I've got my first three on. I'm going to go in between. And we're going to just start to build up that. You can, of course, pop it on your petal if you wanted to, and then attach it to the bud. Should we call it the bud? I'll call it the bud. But I'm creating a little bit of layering, and these pieces I can shape as I'm going along as well. So you can start to rough up your petal edges. So I'm going to continue to do this. And again, let's go into that centre panel where there's no petal.
I love that there's a guide, Debbie, so
yes.
You get that guide of how many petals, how many to build up. And I suppose there's nothing to stop you building up some more if you want to, is there?
Exactly. And the thing with crepe paper, Debs, you can stretch it, you can manipulate it into shape, you can hold it in, you can close those petals up if you want to. So if you want, like, in the centre of a rose, if you think about the centre of a rose, it's quite closed to start with, and then starts to open up. The bigger the petals, the more open that will get. And I'll show you, but I'm just going to continue to pop those on, and then my last one just going on to this part. So you can see the first three and then the second three I've just kind of alternated to create a fuller flower. Absolutely adore these, and the templates make it so easy to achieve. This bit is the fun bit. Creating all of this is what I call the fun part. And again, you just now can start to bring that shape out, or you can wait until you've got all of your petals onto there and then start to build that up. So again, you can see now moving on to that next size, and I'm going to bring it down a little bit just in terms of down onto that ball and onto that stem to create an extra layer. So if we go in and then build up a little bit. You will need some hot glue sticks with this as well, because you will use a fair amount to get that into place. But you can see now I'm building up some extra layers, and we're going to do exactly the same where we take them and shape them. So again, you can shape beforehand, or you can shape while they're on there as well. A little bit of a skew with petal, but that's lovely nature of a rose. So again, I'm just going to spread that out across there, take it in, pop quite a nice bit down so you've got a really lovely piece. But now you can start to see how that rose is really, you know, building up. You're building up that flower. Super easy to achieve these with the use of these templates. And I'll just pop that next bit on there because I think I'm running out of glue, and I'm going to have to stick another glue stick into there. But you can get the idea on how you start to build this up. And literally that is all you're going to continue to do. So you're going to take all of those middle-sized petals, then move on to those larger petals. Then when you've got it all stuck together, you can start to shape your flower. And already I can start to see the base of that rose forming. So if I just hold that there for you, you can start to see it coming together. However, if I just move those to one side, I'll bring in the one, I'll move my hot glue gun, because I've done quite a few of these now, and I've done some of the other shapes as well. So my rose one is there, and that is what it will end up looking like. And like I said, these enable you to really be able to shape, and I've just squished them just because of travelling purposes, but literally you can start to shape your flowers. So I've got my rose there, and I've done a few and just bunched them together that you can then have simply as either a little beautiful bouquet with a little ribbon around there. The wire itself, you pop that wire on with the little guide in there, but they can be pieces that you pop into the centre part of your, they could go into a vase, things like that, but really lovely, beautiful, full flowers, gorgeous realistic flowers, and beautiful, beautiful colours. So you can have a real play with those. They're super easy to do. The actual format of the templates makes this achievable so easy. Absolutely love them, Debbie.
How gorgeous are those flowers? So if you feel like making some flowers, these are the templates that you get in there to be able to create them. So you've got your carnation one, which gives you those different colours. You've also then got your peony, so another pretty one, all those different petals with those templates. You've then got that rose, which is what Debbie just showed you how to use. And then our last one is our dahlia as well. So each one of those creating a different flower. Right, we are going to have a vote, Debbie. So can you get your three from this morning? So this morning's, I was going to say wake-up call then. It wasn't wake-up call. It was new beginnings. Is that the...
Starter skills.
Starter skills.
Yes.
Skills. We had starter skills on this morning, and we forgot to get the voting in time.
We did.
So,
we were too busy talking, weren't we, Debs?
Absolutely, yes. So it would be really rude not to get these three into the vote, and then we will do another vote at the end, and then one to go, and then we'll have one for the tonight's show. So what have you got for us, Debbie?
So if you were watching this morning, these are my makes from this morning. If you weren't, you can still vote. You can tell us which one you like the best. We did the three, well, we did creator cards. So this is the 3-in-1 creator card that I used using the butterfly and did a little trifold. So that's the first one. So that's number 1. Number 2 was our shaped easel creator card, which was the beautiful butterfly with the extra wings on the side as well. So that is number 2. And then number 3, using the framed floral, I did a little light up box. So that's number 3 with our light up box. So you've got 3, you've got 2, or you've got 1. You decide.
1, 2 or 3. So get voting, decide which one, and our social superstar will pick one of those, and we'll get that onto the vote. Alana is saying those crepe flowers are so easy to make. You can start inking your papers, and they look Amazing. And I totally agree. I was thinking that when Debbie was doing them, that because it's an uncoated paper, the crepe paper, you could ink them and do lots of different things onto them, which would be amazing. Susie is saying, Debs, I got the daisy collection delivered yesterday. I'm so excited to make a bunch of daisies between shows today. Yeah, I don't blame you, Susie. The daisy collection, I think, is right up there with one of my favourite collections. It's a little bit behind the wisteria, because I do love the wisteria collection. Shadiah is saying, I remember when my ma used to make plastic flowers and sell for Christmas. She had us use plastic templates. There you go. So templates been around a long time. Carol is saying, this reminds me of making paper flowers as a teenager. I remember making paper flowers as a teenager. I remember ripping off cardstock and then rolling it up to make your flowers. So yeah, and she says several years ago, she loves the dies and the templates, and it makes it much easier nowadays. Absolutely. Alana is saying, you don't have to be absolutely accurate when cutting crepe papers. Exactly. So it's very forgiving on the makeup of the papers. Absolutely, which is what Debbie just showed us how to do, because it's so easy to cut around those templates, and it doesn't really matter if you get them spot on. Look at these gorgeous boxes. I mean, they are just super cute. You could be making these all out of a template that our Debbie is going to be showing you exactly how easy they are to use. What have you got for us, Debbie?
Well, these are our dimensionals, and they're, again, a form of a template to create the favour box, and then dies to be able to create the decorative feature. So I'm using the lock-in heart favour box with this one, so you can see a little bit of inspiration on there. And again, you've got all the recommended machines that you can pop this through as well, in terms of when you've got your template cut out for the dies to go onto. So I'm going to talk about that in a second as well. You even get a little sheet in there as well, a little simple step-by-step instruction guide, and I'm going to show you the two ways again that you can use your favour boxes. So the box itself comes with the template for the box, so I'm just going to take that off my sheet. So that's your template, and then on the other side we have the dies as well, and we've not just given you one die, we've given you all 4 of those dies to create your 4 panels instantly. They can be cut into it, or they can be used as separates because they come in 2 parts. Lots and lots of ways that you can use those, but we'll talk about those in a second, because what I'm interested in most is the template. Now I'm using a double-sided fresh white Centura pearl, one of my favourites. I love this. I want the inside of your box to look as glorious as the outside. So again, your template, you can simply pop that on. Now it fits perfectly onto an A4 sheet of cardstock. So if you've got the A3, you're going to get a couple of these boxes out, or if you're using A4, you'll get a box out of each sheet, with even some extras to do the extra little embellishments and things like that, if you want to use some. Now, what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to make it a little bit easier, and I'm going to show you the 2 ways again that you can use a template. So I'm taking it up to the very short edge at this side and right down at the bottom on the long edge, and I've popped a little bit of tape just on to hold it into place. Now, again, you could take your pencil and you can draw around that when I can find my pencil. If I put that pencil away, just bear with me. You can take your pencil, and Debbie can't find a pencil, it's just disappeared. Oh, there it is, I found it. What's it? What am I like? Literally, take your pencil and draw around there, which I'll talk about in a second. But I find this particular design super easy to create the score lines, because this is the outer part of the box, with the lovely lock-in hearts there at the top. But you've got all of the score lines into place as well. So I find this method, going back to the Gemini, my personal favourite. So I'm bringing in my clear cutting plate. The stencil is attached to the cardstock, so I'm going to turn that over so you can't actually see it. Turn it downwards onto that plate. So the template is encapsulated, trapped inside is the word I'm looking for. And then we're going to bring in the rubber purple shim onto the top, then the plastic shim, then the other clear cutting plate onto the top. So if I turn that over now, you'll see that the template is there, but this is the way that I've just shown it, and it's the easiest way for me to remember how I want that to go in. So again, popping that through your Gemini, let the Gemini do all the hard work for you. All you'll need is a good pair of scissors or a guillotine as well, but I'm going to be totally honest, I find the scissors the easiest method to cut this. I'll show you for why in a second. So bring that through the Gemini, and then if I lift that off now, and I'm going to remove that template, and I think you can see that if I just shine that up, you can see that the lines are already into place. So if I just lift that off for a second, it's embossed itself into the cardstock. So if I'm just going to move that for a second, and let me just take off that extra little bit of tape. And the only reason I put a tape on is so it doesn't move when it's in the machine. The machine is super strong, super powerful, so I just want to make sure it's not moving anywhere. But can you see that embossed detail is in there instantly for me? Now I'm going to just take my scissors, and I'm going to cut up this first line. I'm going to go up to that first score line. So if I just tilt that, you can see where I'm going with this one. So you're going to cut into, and literally up to that first line using your large scissors. I can then bring in a guillotine if I want, just by taking that up and giving that a little burnish. So those score lines are already in place because of how the template has been embossed into the cardstock with the power of the Gemini. I can then bring in the guillotine to get a nice straight edge at the bottom, or I could continue to use my scissors. But what I'm going to do is that bottom baseline there with the fold, I'm going to take to the guillotine, and we're going to snip that off. And then you get your scissors again, and then you're going to follow those score lines again into place to do the, literally, all the cuts out. So again, just taking that off, and you're following that embossed detail along the way. And again, if I just go up and follow that detail, and then exactly the same. Now, depending on how you are with scissors, you can alternate between two different sizes. I tend to go to my second size scissors in terms of coming round all these extra bits. But before we do that, you've got all the fold lines to pop in. So you can literally now place those score lines in without the use of a scoreboard. So if I just pop that in just for a second, show you all those score lines into place, and then take your scissors and then follow that around. Turn the cardstock, keep your scissors still, turn the cardstock and follow those scores. And it's as easy as that, and you'll continue to do that all the way around. So again, if I just take that off, I'm just going to stop there for a second just to show you. Because when you've finished, and you will bring out that full piece, you've then got all the extra bits to do the decoration. So the dies are then when you can place into these. So if I just bring this in for a second and show you the one that I've done. I've popped some red liner tape in. I've literally followed all the score lines around. I've put all the lines into burnish. When I say burnish, you're just enforcing those score lines that are in there already, and just give them an extra burnish using your bone folders. I've popped the red liner tape on, and then what I've done is I've also placed the dies into the centre. So you've got two pieces that cuts straight in, this bit cuts straight out, so you've got options. And I'm going to put those pieces, what I've already decorated, onto there. Now you can of course do this with a pencil template, and if I just bring this in, I'll just show you. If you pencil, it's exactly the same. You'll follow those cut lines, the score lines. You'll just need to bring in your scoreboard to put the score lines into place, and that's all on that template ready for you to follow quite easily. But again, showing you the way that you can use with your Gemini, I find quite nice and easy to follow as well. So I'm just going to pop those places in, and then what we'll do is we'll assemble the favour box together. And if I just pop that into the last part, and I'm decorating it before I pop that in just to make it a little bit life a bit easier. We're going to take off all the red liner tape at the bottom. So if I just pick up those red liner pieces, and then I'll show you how you put this together and bring in that lock-in art system at the top as well. So I'll just get that red liner tape when the red liner tape decides to come off. So what I'm going to do now is, using the square part, I'm going to start with taking that first fold and lining up to that very edge, and each one you just do one at a time. And bringing that in, I'm going to now bring that piece in, and then lastly the side piece, and that creates that beautiful box. You're going to bring the two pieces on the inside, and then the interlocking part you're just going to bring together, and you've got on your template you've got one at the top, one at the bottom, and you just lock those two, simply slide those into place, for that interlocking system. So you've got that lovely love heart on the top, and then you've got all the decorative features. So I've got 2 pieces that I've cut in and 2 pieces that I've cut out and stuck on, and then you can decorate. The one that I'd made earlier, if I'd done this one, is with all the panels stuck onto the box itself and then just decorated with some little gems at the top. But you've got options, there's choices. They could have been all 4 sides cut into that box to create a see-through element. A really beautiful set of favour boxes, and depending on the colourways that you use, so many different ways that you can use them and create the most beautiful little gift boxes, which for me, very easy with the templates, and the dies do all the hard work for you. You just get creative.
So pretty. So what are you going to be putting in your favour boxes when you make them? Our first one that we've got here is our ornate favour box. So that's the design that you'll get with that one. We've got our happy heart one, which is the one that our Debbie just used. We've also got a country cottage favour box. I love all these different designs. And our last one is that lock-in hearts one as well. Absolutely beautiful. So, Debbie, we do have a winner for the first one. So, from Starter Skills, have you got them? What are your numbers?
I have, yes. Sorry, I was just looking and I'm thinking,
She's just digging deep and putting them up there to see what they are. So, we have 1, 2 and 3.
Yes, I have no idea.
It's not number 2.
Oh, butterfly, you can come on with me.
It's not number 3.
Oh,
number 1.
You see, I love.
So
I'm not going to lie.
I'm
not going to lie. I adore these dies. They are absolutely beautiful dies, and a very simple but effective way of using creator cards.
Absolutely.
So that's the winner from the first show.
That is the winner from the first one. So we're going to ask Debbie to get her mates for this show and pop them out. So another 3 amazing demos she's done in this hour, which is absolutely amazing considering they're all templates and construction and putting together. And I think you'll agree with me that Debbie has made it look so easy, and they look amazing. So Debbie's going to sort those out. It's going to be a tough one, Debbie, because you've obviously got the flowers, you've got the box, you've got the storybook. So tell us which number you're putting them in order.
Right, I'll put them in order then of the way that I've done them. Although, to be fair, number 2 I have only part made, so you'll forgive me, but I have made the others. But again, we'll start with number 1 because we love the storybook. So the storybook die and template, where you've got your box that can either sit onto the top or it can go inside the drawer itself. So that's number 1. So number 1. Then we've got number 2, which is the start of my rose. Which you can end up with all your beautiful crepe paper flowers. That's number 2, although I feel like that's a little bit cheating, but you get the gist. You get the gist. Then number 3, the beautiful ornate interlocking favour box, which I just think is beautiful. So 3, 2 or 1, you decide.
There we go, get voting. Now you've got to be quick because we're heading towards the end of the show. Well, these hours just fly by, which is unbelievable. Linda's saying, I have this template, but she's afraid to use it. So thank you, Debbie. Absolutely, get those templates out and have a look. Tracy is saying, I have trouble folding paper. Is that on the box? I'm assuming that's on the boxes. We'll go back to that one. Terry's saying, Tracy, oh, she's answering you, Tracy. Saying, she says that I have a top tip about folding, and I put the smaller side underneath and then the folds, if that makes sense. Maybe you could explain better. So yes, I know exactly what you mean. So my top tip, Debbie, I don't know if you do it as well, but when you're box making or making anything, do you know where you have a small tab?
Yes.
And when you fold it over, it makes it wonky. It's the nature of the game, because it's like, let's say a box, you've got a box and you're folding that long, like, inch tab over.
Yep.
It almost warps the card at the side of your box. But if you fold the larger part over that, it stops it warping.
I think I did that this morning, this afternoon. Did
I
I do that with the larger one? I'm totally honest, sometimes I'm in like automatic mode, because you find a way that works for you, don't you? You do find a way that works for you. But yeah, sometimes I just do it automatically without thinking about it. And then I'm thinking, oh yeah, now I get that. Yeah,
it really works. So yeah, if you've got the smaller piece of card, fold over the smaller piece, and that is a top tip. So if you do have trouble, the other thing is having a good scoring tool that you can burnish with, and burnish those folds out as well. Cheryl is saying, great day to stay inside and watch Crafters TV. Every day is a great day to stay inside and watch Crafters TV. And Evelyn's saying that it's very cold in Colorado. It's only 15 centigrade and a little snow. Let's have a look here. So I think we're all done. Linda's saying, wow, I am planning to make chocolates for Valentine's Day, and you could use that favour box to put them in, which is amazing. We do have a winner, however. Yes, so let's get that one at number 1 again.
Hey, I'm not going to lie, I do love. You know, it's almost like you're reading my mind. I do love the Storybook, an enchanted Storybook design.
Absolutely. And just to finish up, Debbie, you're just going to show a few samples of those favour box dies,
because they are beautiful boxes. And I always love, so in terms of making a box with a die, it's absolutely fine, that's great, but having a set of templates that create some really beautiful designs, for me, is a big tick, because it's so easy to use. A template is a lot easier to use than you actually think. And I hope I've shown that in today's show. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Different variety of favour boxes that we do at Crafters, with different shapes as well, but all of these boxes have been using the templates. So the interlocking out that I did, look at what happens when you change colour. When you start to add dies, when you start to have iridescent cardstock behind the back, absolutely stunning. This one, another beauty. Use other dies that you have in your crafty stash, to embellish the boxes as well. But these are all workable boxes that open up to give for your loved ones, and you have different options as well. So that's another different art design that we have. But look at the plethora of colours and the plethora of designs that we have that you can get creating with once you've got yourself a lovely set of template boxes. These are just gorgeous, and I can understand why they proved to be so popular over and over and over again. And I love this one because it's a shaker one. Michelle will appreciate this. It's got a shaker element inside, so that cutting in factor. Add your acetate around the back, and then your foam on a roll, and then your little shaker bits, and you've got some really gorgeous pieces that you can create. Love them.
I mean, they're absolutely gorgeous. We know that weddings, anniversaries, parties are all coming up. Even kiddies' parties, you could kiddify them with some cute animal designs on them, or whatever you want to do. There's such a gorgeous design. Now, for anything that Debbie has done in the show, just go ahead and have a look on the website. You might find them on there, or you might already have them in your stash, and it's just reigniting that creativity that you want to do. And remember the 23p sale that's on the website as well, so do go across and have a look at that. There's lots of things that if you buy, you can then get another additional item for 23p. I know, 23p, which is amazing. Now we have one final show left of the day, which is obviously our Second Chance Sunday. I love a Second Chance Sunday because it really is that time when we bring everything in that we love, that Debbie loves, that comes back into that second chance on a Sunday for you to have a peruse around. And Debbie's going to be making some beautiful demos, aren't you, this evening?
Oh, I've got Sent with Love. I love that collection. So yes, I've got a little cube card that I'm going to make in that. I've got textured embossing folders. You know I love embossing folders. Textured embossing folders, a different way that can use them. And actually I've combined it with some stamps that we launched this week that Arjan did. So I've combined the two and brought them both together, because that's what you can do. An embossing folder can be a background piece, but it can also be a focal part as well. So we've got a couple of those. I'm trying to think of the other things. Oh, confetti dies. Oh my God. I love the confetti dies. I was so jealous that Leanne got them because, they're just beautiful. So we've got loads lined up. But I think it's going to be a good one. And we've got 2 hours. We have 2 hours, Debbie.
Yes, so it won't be a case of, oh my goodness, where's that hour gone? It will be, oh my goodness, where's that 2 hours gone? So if you've enjoyed Crafters TV today, please join us back tonight. Myself and Debbie, George is in the gallery. Nicola's coming in to produce, and it's going to be a fun, packed show at 6 p.m. So join us back then. See you later.